and it is live. I'm Donnie Barnes. We see the weather conditions in San Jose tonight. It has been a rainy afternoon and evening, and that rain is expected to continue off and on throughout the match, so it's going to be slick. We'll see if that impacts the game at times here tonight. We are, of course, on the road to the Nations League final. These two sides will play the second leg next week in Panama City, and the winner will advance to the semifinals, which will be played next March in Los Angeles, California. Panama hoping to return to the semifinals for a third consecutive edition of this tournament, while Costa Rica looking to avenge one of their darkest moments in recent history. I mentioned these two nations met at this exact stage of the competition last November, and Panama won convincingly. They took the opening leg 3-0 here in San Jose, and then they won the home leg 3-1 to win the tie by a lopsided 6-1 aggregate score. That was such a landmark moment for Panama in confirming that they had, at least for the moment, surpassed Costa Rica as the preeminent power in Central America, which was a title that Los Ticos felt that they held for many years. But in recent seasons, it has been Panama who have had the most impressive results in Central America. And they continued that run by advancing to the quarterfinals of Copa America this summer, defeating the United States, of course, in Atlanta, advancing out of their group at the expense of the host nation. Under head coach Thomas Christensen, they have played a very attractive style of soccer, been able to achieve some great things with it. And while wins against Mexico and some of the larger nations have been more difficult to come by, they want to continue to solidify their place as Central America's best team. And they have a chance to do that by eliminating Costa Rica again over these two legs. They are missing a number of key players for this tie, though, and Costa Rica intent on putting last year's results in the rear view and getting through to the semifinals this time. They have interim head coach Claudio Vivas at the helm after the sudden resignation of Gustavo Alfaro in August. While Los Ticos may not have as many injuries and absences in their squad, they do have some serious issues of their own heading into this tie. 4 of their key players, including 2 of their usual starting backline, are 1 yellow card away from a suspension. So if any of Jalen Mitchell, Francisco Calvo, Alejandro Brand, or Manfred Ugalde were to pick up a card in this match, they would miss that second leg in Panama City next week. So it's an interesting tightrope that they'll have to walk in this first leg. Might present Claudio Vivas with some decisions as well, depending on how this first leg goes. Does he take any of those players off a little earlier than usual to make sure that they stay eligible for next week's game? So lots of interesting subplots tonight in front of what's always a great crowd here at La Joya de la Sabana, the Jewel of the Savannah. This beautiful national stadium that opened just over a decade ago. Expect another great atmosphere in Panama City next week, the conclusion of this week-long drama. In the semifinals, the third place match and the final, all to be played next March in Los Angeles, California at SoFi Stadium. Semifinals will take place on March 20th, the third place match, and the final happening March 23rd, 2025. The United States have won all 3 editions of the Concacaf Nations League so far. Is this the year that someone else joins them? Both of these teams hope so, of course. And they hope to be that team, but they'll have to get through each other first. Here you see the Costa Rican coaching staff. These fans who have braved this all-day rain to make their way into the National Stadium tonight. It figures to be an emotional night in San Jose, a tense night. At least if you're a neutral, it figures to be a lot of fun as well. Most observers expect this tie to be much closer than last year's when Panama just ran over Costa Rica. People feel that these two are much closer together this year, especially with the injuries and absences that Panama have coming into this tie. Over the stadium public address. Here come the two sides out onto the pitch. Led out by our officials, who will officially meet in just a moment. Costa Rica will be in their home kits tonight, Panama in their away white kits. In just a moment, we'll hear the national anthems of these two nations. Then we'll see the starting 11s and kickoff. It is Costa Rica and Panama in the first leg of the Concacaf Nations League quarterfinals, and it is next. You see and hear the passion on display here at San Jose as we get set for this Concacaf Nations League quarterfinal first leg between Costa Rica and Panama. And Costa Rica eager to avenge last year's 6-1 aggregate defeat at this same stage of the competition. And here is how they line up tonight under interim head coach Claudio Vivas. Patrick Sequeira is their goalkeeper. Juan Pablo Vargas will anchor that back line, flanked by Jalen Mitchell and Julio Cascante. Kenneth Vargas, a key member of their midfield. Manfred Ugalde is a man to watch up front for them. Francisco Calvo is their captain. He recently celebrated his 100th appearance for his national side. Here are today's officials, led by Said Martinez, who is known as the Honduran Michael Oliver. He actually refereed the Nations League final last year. He's assisted by Walter Lopez and Christian Ramirez, and Raul Castro is the fourth official tonight, all four of them hailing from Honduras. We're awaiting the two captains to meet at midfield, and here they are now. Bárcenas wearing the captain's armband for Panama tonight. This will be his 94th appearance for his national side. He is closing in on that century mark as Francisco Calvo, his counterpart, just reached that last month. Now the VAR room, which is led tonight by Melissa Borjas Pastrana, also of Honduras. The assistant VAR, Shirley Perello. Now the starting 11 for Panama, who have defeated Costa Rica the last 5 times they've met, and 8 of their last 10. Mentioned Edgar Bárcenas wearing that captain's armband. Orlando Mosquera has established himself as their starting goalkeeper. Fidel Escobar has shaken off an injury. He was in doubt for tonight, but he gets the nod in that starting lineup. He anchors their back line. Christian Martinez and Coco Carrasquilla, the recently named Concacaf Player of the Year, will anchor their midfield. Jose Fajardo scored in both legs against Costa Rica last year as part of that 6-1 win. It got Panama to their second consecutive Nations League semifinal, and they want to make it 3 years in a row, reaching that Final Four. That quest begins tonight, with again the second leg coming in a week's time in Panama City. So these two sides have watched the rain fall all day long. As we've seen the sun set, this crowd file in these damp conditions. It is the kind of night where you might be rewarded for putting a shot on frame. It's treacherous for goalkeepers. Said Martinez ready to blow that opening whistle. Let's enjoy it together, as we are all set for this quarterfinal, and we are in motion in Costa Rica in the Concacaf Nations League quarterfinal first leg. Will Panama continue their recent dominance as they are flagged for an early foul? Or will Costa Rica strike back and take a big step toward the Final Four for the first time? There is Thomas Christensen, the head coach of Panama, who's done such a tremendous job since taking over in 2020. He's brought this exciting, often very attacking style to them, and they've had good success. Didn't reach the World Cup in 2022, which is a big disappointment after they qualified for the first time in their history in 2018. They stuck with him regardless, and they've been rewarded for that. There is Claudio Vivas. He has been the interim head coach officially since August, after the sudden resignation of Gustavo Alfaro, who stepped down to take the Paraguay job. Paraguay just upset Argentina tonight, over the top, and coming out of his area and playing it clear was Patrick Sequeira. Sequeira has established himself as Costa Rica's new #1 over these last 6 months or so. Keylor Navas, of course, for a decade and a half held that spot. Not only the best goalkeeper in Costa Rica's history, but one of the best goalkeepers ever. Such a fixture in this Costa Rican side for so long, but retiring from national duty earlier this year. Free kick here in favor of Panama as Cesar Blackman was bundled over. Rough foul there against Kenneth Vargas, who plays in Scotland for Heart of Midlothian. Hearts, as they're more commonly known. Panama usually play out from the back. They're very brave in doing so. There is Coco Carrasquilla. There's that neat one-touch soccer that Panama love to play as they persist through that midfield, and now some space down this left side. Cesar Blackman looking to switch the point of attack. Now some space for Michael Murillo, who spreads it wide. In with the left foot. Repelled by the first line of the defense. This will be a Panama throw. Already some murmurs and some unease from the home fans as Panama starting on the front foot, even though they're the away side. Costa Rica looking to play themselves into this match. The aggressive pressing from Panama in that midfield, though, and Costa Rica give it away. Now the free kick for Panama. You can hear the frustration already in San Jose. Christian Martinez showing good strength there to hold his ground. So Panama haven't created a chance yet, but asking the early questions. That's a great ball down the right, and just a bit too heavy for the run of Michael Murillo, who likes the idea. Murillo, who became the first Panamanian to play in the MLS All-Star game several years ago, now plays for Marseille in France. Hasn't gotten a lot of playing time yet this season. In and out of the lineup with some injuries, but one of those key figures in this Panama side, who are missing 7 significant players from last year's squad here tonight. Abdiel Ayarza, Ismael Diaz, Andres Andrade, Eric Davis. And they thought they might be without Fidel Escobar, their key central defender. They were sweating over his fitness in the build-up to this game, but he is in the lineup and on the pitch. Jose Cordoba plays for Norwich City in England. Costa Rica trying to get their first attack as we approach 5 minutes on the clock. Escaped Carrasquilla. Run back though by Barcenas. First time we've seen Panama forced into a turnover. Loose ball picked up by Costa Rica, served over the top. Weak fall here on the end line. They're claiming a corner. They get one, Costa Rica. First corner of the match comes for the home side 6 minutes in. Fred Ugalde involved in the buildup, chesting it down there. And it appeared to take the deflection off Jose Cordoba. Swung in with the right foot, overhit, over everyone, and out of play for a goal kick. Didn't appear to be a terrible delivery, but Costa Rica didn't really have anybody crashing that back stick. Crowd impatient with how long Panama were taking on the restart. The away goals rule, by the way, is in effect again in these Nations League quarterfinals. That was the case last year as well. We saw it coming into play when Jamaica shocked Canada last year at this stage of the competition. That tie ended 4-4, but Jamaica scored 3 goals in the away leg and went through via that away goals rule. So away goals especially crucial in this format. This one over the top, but overhit. And an easy take for Mosquera, who puts it right back in play for Blackman. So for Panama tonight, the incentive is not just to try to play for a 0-0 draw. They would love to grab at least an away goal. Under this format, if you draw 0-0 away from home, you leave yourself open to giving up that away goal in your home leg, in the second leg. This is going to be a free kick for Panama, meanwhile, in a pretty dangerous spot. Earned by Jose Luis Rodriguez. Given away by Juan Pablo Vargas. Pretty clear foul. So the first set piece opportunity for the visitors tonight. Here's Rodriguez lining it up with his left. In from Rodriguez. Good ball. Comes to the top of the area and blasted over the bar by Coco Carrasquilla. Costa Rica upset with the referee, feeling there was some shirt pulling from Panama in the box that wasn't spotted. The delivery was pretty good. Carrasquilla, who for all his great work in the midfield, his award-winning work, doesn't score a ton of goals himself. He's only scored twice for Panama. This is his 62nd appearance for them. Does so many other things in all areas of the pitch, though. Plays for Houston Dynamo, of course, in Major League Soccer. Beat out the likes of Christian Pulisic. Many others in this region to win that Concacaf Men's Player of the Year award. Costa Rica looking to press, but Panama play their way out of it. Here is Carrasquilla. Hunted down. Looked like he was going to be dispossessed. Referee puts his whistle to his lips and now does blow for the foul. Well, 10 minutes gone, 0-0 in this first leg. Carrasquilla once didn't see that challenge coming. Looked like he had won it back. Was dispossessed a second time by Kenneth Vargas and then fouled him. Costa Rica were upset. They wanted the advantage to be played or allowed. Is Brenes, though, over the free kick, along with Brandon Aguilera. Brenes clips it in with the right. It's going to be a corner for Costa Rica. They're second already. Skimming off the top of Edgardo Farinha's head. First time they swung it toward the back post, Costa Rica. Said Martinez sorts something out in the box. This time it's the outswinger with the left. And it's there, but it's saved on the line by Mosquera. Great chance for Costa Rica to open the scoring. Mosquera playing it long and not able to connect with Rodriguez. So they switched it up. They went with the outswinger this time. They won the first ball, and they won the second ball. There's Juan Pablo Vargas. Had it fall to him by the penalty spot. Got it on frame, but not able to steer it either side of Mosquera. Makes the first save of this quarterfinal. Costa Rica, though, energized now. Will this stay in play? It does for now. But then it's across that end line, and it will be a goal kick. The pitch being as slick as it is, as much rain has fallen today, that ball's going to skim quickly off it. terrific effort by Kenneth Vargas to keep it in play initially. Well, in last year's first leg, Panama grabbed the lead in the 4th minute, and they were 2 goals up within the first half an hour, and they never looked back. Well, the fans upset again with the amount of time Panama taking from this goal kick. But already a much more competitive quarterfinal this year, as we suspected it would be. These 2 Central American neighbors. As this goes over the top, and it's good claim by Sequeira, who was just there ahead of Jose Fajardo. Mosquera cleans that up. These 2 nations share a border with each other. For a long time, this was a very one-sided rivalry in Costa Rica's favor. Until the last decade or so, Costa Rica had only lost a handful of times to Panama in their history. They had a 10-match winning streak, in fact, between 1992 and 2005. That has flipped completely this decade. Panama, we mentioned, they've won 5 in a row against Costa Rica, and they've won 8 of the last 10. And they have a free kick here in their own half. Rio fouled by Madrigal. So Claudio Vivas hoping to turn around those recent fortunes against Panama. Depending on what source you consult, the all-time series is either 31 wins for Costa Rica and 12 for Panama, or 27 wins for Costa Rica and 15 for Panama. This is turned over by Panama. And Vargas looking to make something from that, surrounded by white shirts, but he's fouled and a free kick. A very central spot. About 10 or 15 yards outside that 18-yard box. Carrasquilla giving away his 2nd foul in this first quarter of an hour. Fernando Mosquera lining up his wall. Mosquera plays his club soccer in Saudi Arabia now. So the trio of Ticos, now a quartet, in fact, around the ball. Aguilera, Ugalde. Calvo stepping away from it now. He's hit with the right, and it rises over the bar. Jefferson Brenes not able to keep it down. Trying to curl it around that 4-person wall. Costa Rica are going to have to find some different ways of pressing Panama as they try to play out from the back. You saw there, Panama much too easy to play out of that press and get their way up the pitch. Now the first real physical flashpoint of the match. Mitchell shoved by Bárcenas at the end of that. Farinha was involved. Vargas in the mix. Christian Martinez and Jalen Mitchell exchanging words at the end of it as well. This is why we love this game. It matters so much. See the initial foul that touched this off. That was Carrasquilla, who has to be close to playing his way into the book. That's his third foul already. And then the shove by Aguilera on Fajardo. That ignited the whole thing. And then Mitchell comes in with the chest bump. Looks like the card is out. Let's see who it's going to be shown to. Now the restart from Costa Rica, and the angled ball caught Panama out, and it forces the save out of Mosquera. The rebound is cleared away. Panama went to sleep, and Costa Rica nearly made them pay. Orlando Mosquera with his second save in these opening 20 minutes. This is shielded out. It is a goal kick. There was the yellow card. It was shown to Fajardo and to Jalen Mitchell, it appears. And for Mitchell, he was one of those players that came into this game on a yellow for Costa Rica, so that means he will be suspended for the second leg. It's really an ill-advised card for both players because Fajardo, one of Panama's most important attackers, and Mitchell, again, had to know coming into this game that he was a yellow card away from being suspended for the second leg, and it appears that that will be the case now. We have 20 minutes gone, 0-0 in this quarterfinal first leg. Fought for along this touchline. More physical play, and players slamming into those end boards. This was Blackman, and there's Jalen Mitchell, who just went into the book a moment ago. He's already suspended now for next week's game. Has to be careful that he doesn't get himself kicked out of the rest of this one, too. It is a corner for Panama, their first of the match. Free kick, actually. It was a free kick that was awarded. Tell exactly which way the referee was pointing initially. So the free kick taken by Rodriguez toward the top of the 6-yard area. Good header away. Carrasquilla down. Panama can reset. Bárcenas. Rodriguez too close to Patrick Sequeira. Richard Sequeira earning that #1 shirt after the international retirement of Keylor Navas earlier this year. A clean sheet, was the player of the match against Brazil. And that memorable draw that Costa Rica held Brazil to the Copa America group stage this summer. It was quite a statement by Sequeira. Another free kick for Costa Rica as we approach the midway point of this first half. Fred Ugalde earning this set piece for Los Ticos. They've been a danger from a couple of these already. This one served in with the left, and just wide. Flag was up. It wouldn't have counted. But again, Costa Rica exposing some fragility in that Panamanian defense. It was Warren Madrigal who had gotten in behind. He had done so a step early, according to the assistant referee. Panama have been vulnerable from set pieces over the last few years. For all their good play, many big wins as they've had, there's been one criticism of them. They have at times been brittle, defending corners and free kicks. Play it long down the left here. One of those battles by the corner flag. Jalen Mitchell continues to be very aggressive physically despite his yellow card. I have to think that's giving Claudio Vivas occasional heart palpitation on that touchline for Costa Rica. Panama able to press through those challenges. It's Barcenas trying to turn the corner, tackled out again by Mitchell, and it is a goal kick. Again, Jalen Mitchell taking risks. That was inside the 18, I believe. Let's see here. Might have been just outside, so it wouldn't have been a penalty, but Mitchell still has to get that tackle right on a yellow, and did. Christensen in the year of the fourth official, Raul Castro. Ugalde does well in the center circle. Free kick. And Fred Ugalde playing in Russia the last couple of years for Spartak Moscow. Has been a generational shift for Costa Rica these last couple of years. Most of the members of that 2014 team that made that incredible run all the way to the World Cup quarterfinal have aged out. It's been a painful transition for them at times. That 6-1 loss in the quarterfinals last year, an example of that. Here they come. Touch skittering off a Tico foot, gathered by Mosquera. Inside the final 20 of this first half. Cesar Blackman. Christian Martinez. Carrasquilla. Jose Cordoba. This is where Panama, especially playing away from home, like to frustrate home sides with their possession. They'll be patient. They don't mind knocking it around in situations like this. Gets away from Rodriguez. Costa Rica looking for the counter. Not the best first touch, though, from Kenneth Vargas. The other quarterfinal in progress, the United States leading Jamaica 1-0 in the 69th minute. The U.S. led since the 5th minute. Ricardo Pepi opened the scoring. 4.5 minutes in Kingston. Matt Turner then saved a penalty in the 13th. They continue to lead by that 1-0 scoreline. The back heel chop from Francisco Calvo was smart. Free kick, Costa Rica. have to have some experience, some savvy, and some bravery to play a blind back heel from your own end line. But that's what 100 caps with your national team will get you if you're Francisco Calvo. Three shots officially for Costa Rica, one for Panama. Official possession almost 70% in Panama's favor. Hasn't felt quite that lopsided. Martinez between the lines for Bárcenas. The only two criticisms that you can have of Panama under Thomas Christensen, we mentioned the set piece brittleness in defense, as this goes out of play for a Costa Rica throw. The other issue they have sometimes had in bigger games is a tendency to have tons of possession, lots of pretty sequences, but not enough end product from those. They're doing just fine so far tonight as the away side in the first leg. But 70% possession, just one shot so far. It has sometimes been an issue for them. Again, a program that has come so far in the last decade, having been long regarded as one of the underachievers of the region, reaching their first World Cup in 2018. There's a heavy tackle there. That goes across the end line. Christian Martinez in on Jalen Mitchell, and then Aguilera in his face afterward. It's a heavy challenge. He gets all ball initially, but then cleans out Mitchell on the follow through. An up and down week for Jalen Mitchell. Missed his connecting flight to come join the national side earlier this week, so he missed a couple days of training. Transferred to Feyenoord in the Dutch Eredivisie, but he's hardly played this year. This is a corner for Costa Rica, their third of this opening half. Swinging ball. This time doesn't cause any issues for Panama. We're going to have another free kick, though, here at Costa Rica. These fouls are starting to mount for Panama. Aguilera tripped up that time. Jose Rodriguez guilty of that one. The mist and rain in San Jose. Aguilera delivers with the left, curling it in backside, and a good take by Orlando Mosquera. Can't take those for granted. It may look simple, but in these conditions, not simple at all. Costa Rica win it back though. On this right side, Alonso Martinez, and then was stood up. And Panama can play out. Carrasquilla, that's nicely done for Jose Rodriguez, who's on the charge. He has Fajardo ahead of him. Now checks back and spoons it to Blackman. That's Blackman pulling it back. And then the left-footed effort cannons off a Costa Rican defender. Carrasquilla recovers and slaloms past two. There goes Coco Carrasquilla laying it off. Wanted the return from Rodriguez. Now chipped over the top, but too far and out for a goal kick. First fluid attacking sequence by Panama, though, in quite a while. That'll be encouraging for Thomas Christensen. Carrasquilla at the heart of it. with this initial dribble, past one, past two, opening things up for Panama. Costa Rica winning that throw, wanted to go quickly. Served in, good ball. Just wouldn't sit down for Vargas, and flag was up for offside anyway. Let's see how visibility is starting to deteriorate. There's the look at the offside. Does appear to be the correct decision by the assistant referee. There is VAR for these games. Introduced to our VAR officials at the start of the night. Not been called into action so far. Costa Rica's turn to play out from the back. Fidel Escobar dominant in the air. Good dribble and layoff from Ugalde. Throw for Costa Rica as we approach the final 10 of the first half. Cagey opening half of this two-legged tie. Costa Rica have had more of the dangerous situations. Panama dangerous on the counter. Panama absolutely killed Costa Rica on the counter in transitions in those two legs last year. Ugalde looking confident. Going to clip it over the top. That was well read though and cut out by Farina. Skia, Barcenas, Blackman. Nobody would have expected Panama to make it out of that group at Copa America this past summer. In a group with Uruguay and the United States, but they got their way to the quarterfinal and then were humbled by Colombia 5-0 in that quarterfinal. Another look at this moment of skill a moment ago. Look at this from Warren Madrigal. Another Costa Rican free kick. Just one booking for either side so far as that free kick overhit. Jalen Mitchell and Jose Fajardo shown corresponding yellows. That after the whistle incident. That missed. And fog continuing to thicken. I do wonder how it might affect these balls served high in the air as this game goes on. How visible will that ball be? Patient passage of play from Panama again. Lots of space for Carrasquilla now. The layoff works, and it's kept moving for Blackman. Blackman onto his right. Cesar Blackman just over the bar. That's how fast they can spring to life, Panama, after they lull you to sleep with all that possession. Blackman cutting inside on his right. Trying to curl it toward that top corner. Turned over again by Costa Rica, but they win it back. They give away a free kick, however. Set piece for Panama, getting late in this first half. Aguilera handball with that right arm, apparently. Well, a committee around it for Panama. Referee's blown his whistle already. It will be Carrasquilla. Chips it over the top. The direction of Jose Cordoba. Foul given against Panama. Steaming in with the shoulder, fouling Jalen Mitchell. Now Panama free kick. It's been a choppy first half. One given against Ugalde. 40 minutes played, final 5 of the first half, plus stoppage time, of course. Loose ball had to be dealt with by Mitchell and was. Extra time not possible tonight, of course. Would be possible at the end of the second leg next week in Panama City as we get a free kick for Costa Rica. Ball then kicked away. Costa Rica asking why there wouldn't be a card there for time wasting, and the card is out. And it's shown to Carrasquilla. Mentioned Said Martinez, refereed the Nations League final last year. Carrasquilla carded for, well, take your pick. First the tug back, then the kick out. The player who kicked the ball away for Panama after the whistle, not booked as far as we can tell. Costa Rican crowd trying to urge their team across this first half finish line. Carrasquilla all the way back to Mosquera. Panama would be reasonably happy with this first half under the circumstances as the away side in this first leg. Remember, though, a 0-0 result in the first leg of a tie where away goals are a factor can be risky. This is a Panama free kick. Panama taking it quickly for Carrasquilla. Plays it further into a pocket of space. Left-footed effort on goal. First on target of the night for Panama. Patrick Sequeira was behind it. Joel Bárcenas letting it go. If you follow world soccer, you know that the away goals rule has been taken out of the equation. For example, in the European Champions League, in the South American continental tournaments, Copa Libertadores, the Copa Sudamericana. It does create an interesting dynamic, though. If you play for a 0-0 draw as the away side in the first leg, and then if you draw 1-1 in the home leg, you go out on away goals. Creates some interesting tactical conundrums. This ball split down the middle. Let's look at the flag. It's going to stay down, and a heavy tackle. All eyes to the referee, and he points, but the flag is up now for offside. He was going to give the penalty, but then the flag went up, and so it'll just be a free kick for Panama, and they can breathe. Well, the assistant referee allowed the play to conclude before raising his flag. Yeah, clearly offside. But again, this is what assistant referees are instructed to do in situations like this. Because we're in the VAR era, you have to let the play conclude so that if your offside decision is proven to be incorrect on video review, you can then award the goal if it was scored at the end of that sequence. You raise the flag right away, you kill the sequence right away. Kill a potential goal if your decision was wrong. So here come Panama now on the counter, and Blackman in this final minute of the 45 trying to skip past on his right, and he draws the foul from Mitchell, who is on a yellow, and Panama are asking why there isn't a second yellow there. But Said Martinez with a confident shake of his head. Jalen Mitchell, though, continues to walk a very fine line. And that has to be pretty high on interim head coach Claudio Vivas' mind as he heads into halftime in just a moment. An additional 2 minutes to be played at the end of this first half, indicated by fourth official Raul Castro. Let's see the foul again. There's a tug back. Takes the handoff quickly, Jalen Mitchell. He's a little fortunate. It is the free kick for Panama. Can they capitalize right before half? In with the right, deflected and punched away. Sekira with the save. Reset by Blackman. Christian Martinez. Jose Cordoba. Cordoba and a drag pass to Ugalde. Out into touch it goes. Costa Rica throw. Yoel Barcenas putting it on frame. He almost found Fajardo's head as well. It's one of those where you hit it on goal. You hope that one of your players can get across goal side to the defender and head it home. Or maybe the goalkeeper is distracted and allows it to go through. Creates danger one way or the other. Panama ending the first half strongly. Fajardo claiming a throw, but the throw goes Costa Rica's way as we head for the final 30 seconds of the half. One more attack for Panama. It's Rodriguez. And that's going to be a free kick with the last action of this first half, an attacking set piece for the visitors. The foul given against Jefferson Brenes. He got the ball. I think the foul is being given for following through with the back foot. It will be heavily debated here in Costa Rica if Panama were to score from this set piece. Last chance of the first half. Right-footed out-swinging ball. Thumped away, cleared away. Said Martinez blows the halftime whistle. 45 minutes played in San Jose, Costa Rica, in this Concacaf Nations League quarterfinal first leg. It's been slick, it's been damp, it's been raining, it's been foggy, bad-tempered. 22 fouls whistled against the two sides. Just the 3 yellow cards. A couple opportunities either way. No goals on the board yet. A quarter of the way through this two-legged tie. Costa Rica 0, Panama 0. almost set for the second half here in San Jose, Costa Rica. 0-0 between Costa Rica and Panama in this Nations League quarterfinal first leg. Halftime change being made by Costa Rica as Yostin Salinas is coming onto the pitch. There's the second half whistle. We're back underway with Panama kicking things off, attacking from left to right in this second half. Again, the second leg of this quarterfinal still to come next week from Panama City. Either of these sides carry an advantage going into that second leg is the question now for these second 45 minutes tonight. Jalen Mitchell, the player replaced by Yostin Salinas at halftime. Disappointing for Mitchell. Again, he came in on that yellow card. Just a yellow card away from a suspension for the second leg, then picked up that yellow card in an off-the-ball incident ill-advisedly early in the first half. Was fortunate, I think, on a couple occasions not to be shown a second yellow before the end of the first half. And subbed off at halftime. Panama directly to the attack. They finished the first half strongly and created a couple opportunities. Carrasquilla into the box to nobody in particular, and a goal kick for Costa Rica. But Yostin Salinas in for this second half, just his fourth appearance for the national side. There he is, one of just a couple players called up for this international window who played domestically. Plays for Sporting San Jose. So many of this Costa Rican team playing abroad. Pressure put on Orlando Mosquera there, forcing him to kick it out into touch. Thomas Christensen keeping his original 11 on the pitch at the start of the second half. And Panama facing, I don't know if you would call it an injury crisis, but certainly a number of key players missing for this tie. Abdiel Ayarza, Ismael Diaz, Andres Andrade, among others. Eric Davis as well, another very experienced key member of this squad for a number of years. Not available for these games. So far, much tighter, much more competitive than this quarterfinal was between these two sides last year when Panama ran away 6-1 over the two legs en route to their second consecutive Nations League finals. Turned over by Costa Rica, given straight to Jose Fajardo. Now Jose Rodriguez. The underlapping run being made by Michael Murillo. He's then dispossessed. Ugalde does well and serves it over the top, but well off his line. Mosquera to clean up. The other game tonight has gone final. The United States defeating Jamaica 1-0 thanks to that early Ricardo Pepi goal, as we have a free kick for Costa Rica. Well, the U.S. will carry that away goal and that 1-0 lead into the second leg next week. Ugalde fouled there by Christian Martinez. Second ball falls to Ugalde, who has time to pick something out. Overhits it slightly for Madrigal, who tracks it down by the touchline. First time ball pulled back for Calvo. Costa Rica trying to build something here. Ugalde turning between the lines and trying to force one through. It's a bright moment for Costa Rica, though. Can they pay it off? Madrigal now. One-on-one on the wing. Trying to spin his way to the end line. He wins a corner. Fourth corner of the match for Costa Rica. This was a good battle between Madrigal and Michael Murillo. Again, this is often the weakness for Panama, defending these set pieces. Can Costa Rica use one of these to create the breakthrough? Outswinging ball. This one flicked away. Served back in. And clear by Cordoba. Fog thickening again here in the Costa Rican capital. 5 minutes into the second half. Panama went it back and looked to spring a counter. Here goes Carrasquilla on the run. Just one forward and tries to slip it through and nearly does, but off his line to read it and smother it, Patrick Sequeira. Well, Carrasquilla, again, only had one target to pick out and nearly fed Jose Fajardo. Very open start to the second half. Here go Costa Rica, and from the deflection, it's smothered by Orlando Mosquera. Both goalkeepers forced to be quick off their lines multiple times in the early minutes of this second half. Vargas. And then Alonso Martinez just had it spin away. It's such a fascinating second half tactically for both of these managers. How do you approach the second 45? How many risks do you want to take? Because of that away goals rule, it creates such a knife edge feel to games like this. So a free kick for Panama following this foul given against recently introduced Yostin Salinas. If you're Panama, are you content with a 0-0 draw away from home, knowing that if Costa Rica score in that return leg next week, you'll be up against it because of that away goals rule? This is a handball and a free kick for Costa Rica now. If you're Costa Rica, normally, of course, you want to take a lead in that home leg into that away leg next week. But if you don't give up an away goal and you settle for a 0-0, that's not the worst result either because of that away goals rule. Then you're just a goal in that second leg away from being in control of the tie, in theory. Sometimes it comes down to just how high scoring you suspect that second leg might be. Is the flag going to stay down? It stayed down for now. Into the box comes Martinez. Alonso Martinez has it touched across the end line. Panama looking for that flag. It never arrived, and it's a corner for Costa Rica. Let's see. Sure looked offside in full speed, and did appear that he was a step off there, but play allowed to continue. Jose Cordoba getting back to touch it out. Another out-swinging delivery, but this one straight at the goalkeeper. Mosquera almost surprised that it was straight at him, and Panama looked to go away on the counter, and Fajardo looking to sprint onto it himself, and he gets around the corner. Fajardo has one in the middle. That's Rodriguez. Fajardo trying to pick Rodriguez out, and nearly did. It spins harmlessly wide in the end. Another one of those breaks where Panama didn't have a lot of actual options and nearly made the most of them. The pacing has commenced again for Claudio Vivas on the Costa Rican touchline. Costa Rica winning this second ball. And they have the throw in as well. It's a big night and a big tie for Claudio Vivas, the interim head coach for Costa Rica. The thinking in the Costa Rican press seems to be that if Costa Rica win this tie and go through, he has a chance of keeping that job and continuing his candidacy to be the full-time head coach, which he very much would like to be. They have a chance to open the scoring here, and the cutback is blocked out. It's going to be a throw. Costa Rica creating some dangerous moments early in this second half. Said Martinez with a warning to Juan Pablo Vargas. Ugalde with a deft flick from that throw under a lot of pressure. Then it's served in with the left. Diving header away. Carrasquilla gives it away, claiming handball, not given. On we go. And that's going to roll out harmlessly for a goal kick. Thomas Christensen talking it over with his assistant. Christensen, a former striker, of course. He signed with Barcelona under Johan Cruyff. Never played for the first team, but it was a very formative experience coming up under that Cruyff system in Barcelona. For various Spanish and German clubs. Managed all over the world. Briefly managed Leeds United, of course, when they were in the second division in England, as they are now again. In Belgium. He's been the Panamanian manager since 2020. Long ball out of the back. Second ball falls to a player in white. That's Murillo. Costa Rica not under any pressure, and they put themselves under pressure now. What can Panama create from this? Down the left side, a slip. Able to keep it alive, though. Edge of the box, right-footed effort, well over. Joel Barcenas able to strike it the way he wanted. It was good work by Blackman after almost wiping out on this slick turf. Barcenas, who's had a few efforts now on goal. Not sure if his standing leg gave out a bit as he went to hit that. And it has rained all day and evening. The fog seems to have lifted a little for now. It's still very slick, very damp. That's great control. Well done by Kenneth Vargas, but then given away subsequently. Howling. Salinas on the deck. Was there a follow through here from Barcenas? Doesn't look like there was. Salinas. Well, there was the knee to the face there. I don't think that was intentional. It looked like Barcenas was trying to avoid that. I think that's how the referee saw it, which is why there was no further action. So it wasn't play acting from Salinas. He was contacted to the face there by Barcenas' knee, but didn't appear to be any malice in that. On we go with Murillo, and then Rodriguez. Two sides continue to hunt that opening goal in this two-legged tie. Rodriguez, Murillo looking to cross. Thumped off Francisco Calvo, who says no way. His 101st appearance for his country, Francisco Calvo. Has played for 3 different MLS teams, currently plays in Turkey. Escobar and Carrasquilla. Given space, given time. Not really something you want to do if you're Costa Rica. He serves it out wide. Blackman returns to Carrasquilla, who's content to keep possession. This has been a feature of Panama under Thomas Christensen. They're not afraid to pass backward and keep it and try to frustrate the opposition, especially playing away from home. This is flicked along very well for Murillo. Michael Murillo is in. Murillo in front, and it's skied over the bar. What a chance for Panama. Should have been the opening goal. It isn't. It stays 0-0, and players stay on the deck. Jose Fajardo somehow put it over the bar and then clattered into Sequeira afterward. Watch this, turns into almost a dummy by Rodriguez, and then Murillo, he was onside. This would have counted. Maybe just a touch behind Fajardo, but still, I'm sure we'll feel he should have done better. Not the easiest when it's this slick, of course. That ball skids up off that turf. Probably popped up just a fraction of an inch higher than Fajardo was expecting as he tried to hook it from behind his body. He scored 14 times for Panama. This is his 55th appearance. He scored in both legs against Costa Rica in last year's quarterfinal, and probably should have scored there. Big, big moment. If Costa Rica find a way to go through, remember that moment. That will loom large for Panama. Handball, free kick. No, not given against Aguilera. The free kick is for Costa Rica. Barcenas whistled for the foul in the end. Second leg just 4 days from now. Monday night in Panama City. So not a ton of time to regroup for these two sides between these. Here's Rodriguez from distance, and for just a moment that had Costa Rica concerned. Always slicing away from that far post. And you see it from that angle. Panama having a good spell. Another throw here as we're in the final half an hour of this first leg. Costa Rican substitutes warming up. There's just been the one substitution in the match so far. That was the halftime change with Salinas coming on for Jalen Mitchell for Costa Rica. Panama still playing with their original 11 for now. Again, with that second leg just 4 days from now. One of those complicating factors that makes the tactical decisions fascinating for either manager. Here's Carrasquilla with the roll with the shoulders. Carrasquilla, was he tripped? He was. It's a penalty for Panama. Penalty for Panama in the 64th minute. And a terrific chance for them to grab that vital away goal and the opening goal of this tie. And it was Carrasquilla, the newly named Concacaf Player of the Year, who made it happen. The little roll with the shoulders, drops himself into the box, takes the contact from Juan Pablo Vargas. Clearly inside the area. No hesitation from referee Said Martinez, who immediately pointed to the spot. Again, there is VAR. They will check this to make sure there wasn't a clear and obvious error. Hard to see from those angles how there would be enough to review this. So Panama, who missed that golden chance to open the scoring about 5 minutes ago, an even better chance here from 12 yards out. Patrick Sequeira produced a memorable moment for Costa Rica. Jose Fajardo, who missed that chance on the doorstep a few minutes ago, steps up to take this. 25 minutes to go in this opening leg. And the first defining moment of this quarterfinal has arrived. And Fajardo scores! Panama with a priceless away goal, and they have the lead in this Nations League quarterfinal. They're dancing in the rain in San Jose. Panama 1, Costa Rica 0. Their traveling fans celebrate. Their whole bench celebrates. Their whole nation celebrates. They have a chance for a 6th consecutive win over their Central American rivals. More importantly, they're in front thanks to that penalty that Carrasquilla earned, given away by Vargas. And put away by Fajardo, who slammed it just about down the middle. Little bit of stutter step hesitation, sending the keeper the wrong way. And then just hit it as hard as he could. Did actually hook it into that left side just a bit. No chance either way for Mosquera. '15th goal for his nation for Fajardo. Costa Rica up against it now. Again, still a second leg to come 4 days from now in San Jose. Costa Rica, if they could get themselves level at least and go in at 1-1, they would still be right in this tie. Now Panama with that away goal. A healthy spot for now. Costa Rica trying to get it right back. Ugalde taken off his toes. Referee says play on. Shot attempted, blocked down once, scuffed away. Calvo couldn't thread it through. Now Panama will be even more dangerous on this counterattack. Great footwork from Rodriguez, and he's still going. Jose Rodriguez. Rodriguez has Fajardo in front of him, tackled off it eventually. Referee says he got the ball. It is a corner for Panama. It'll be their first of the match. Great run from Jose Rodriguez. They just couldn't stop him until that tackle, which was a clean one. So Panama, who had a goal before they had a corner tonight, will take their first corner now. Outswinging delivery, skids along the deck. Foul given against Panama, free kick Costa Rica. Ugalde in to defend. Absorb the contact. Double change coming for Costa Rica. Alejandro Brand and the veteran Joel Campbell both come on. Alonso Martinez, one of the two removed, along with Jefferson Brenes. Joel Campbell, all-time leader in appearances for Costa Rica. This is his 147th. Legend, of course. Played for Arsenal for several years. Played all over the world, currently playing in the Brazilian second division. Alejandro Brand playing for Burton Albion in England. His 12th cap for Costa Rica. This is spooned over the top. Flag has stayed down. Mosquera again reads it well. 20 minutes of the 90 remaining. This is where Panama can pass you to death. That's exactly what they'll look to do over these last 20 minutes. They have a free kick as well. Now Panama making their first change of the night. Anibal Godoy will replace Christian Martinez. Martinez grabbing at that right leg. Anibal Godoy plays in Major League Soccer for Nashville SC. This is his 144th time on the pitch for Panama. One of the most senior members of this squad. Good guy to have off your bench for the final 20 minutes when you're trying to see out a result away from home. Panama in front, thanks to that 66th minute penalty from Jose Fajardo. Big crowd at the National Stadium in San Jose. Desperate for something to cheer about. This is another Panama free kick. It has certainly been much more competitive so far than we saw last year, and we expected it to be. And last year, Panama led 2-0 before there were 30 minutes played. They led 6-0 overall early in the second half of the second leg. Took them 66 minutes tonight. Costa Rica had some opportunities before then. So we see this foul, which Panama don't make anything of, but just 17 minutes to play plus stoppage time in this first leg now. Panama with the lead and an away goal. Reach the Nations League semifinal for a third straight year. Costa Rica with a player down. That is Juan Pablo Vargas. That doesn't look good. Tough second half for Vargas. Gave away the penalty and now collapsed with an apparent non-contact injury. That looks like it's going to be the end of his night. One of those center backs for Costa Rica who normally wouldn't be subbed off unless absolutely necessary. Well, this was the penalty in the 65th minute. Vargas pretty clear, got nowhere near the ball, took out the man. Fajardo made no mistake subsequently. Been doing a lot of dancing over the last decade or so, Panama. Juan Pablo Vargas scored for Costa Rica at the 2022 World Cup. Looks like his night will be done. Kenneth Vargas also coming off. Alexis Gamboa, one of the two who comes on along with Andy Rojas. Costa Rica trying to spring back to life and blasted from a long way out. You can see how far the stands are from the playing fields here at the National Stadium. That ball might have reached the stands behind that goal. That was the injury to Juan Pablo Vargas a couple minutes ago. 2 more changes for Panama now. Carlos Harvey and Eduardo Guerrero ready to come on. The goal scorer, Jose Fajardo, making way. Mentality of a striker. Missed that big chance just past the 60-minute mark. Did not miss this one just a few minutes later. It's exactly the kind of lack of memory you have to have as a striker. Powered that home. Make the difference so far for Panama in this quarterfinal. Coco Carrasquilla, the man who won the penalty, also makes way. Eduardo Guerrero plays for Dynamo Kiev. Carlos Harvey plays for Minnesota United in MLS. Panama have managed this game very well since taking the lead. More impatience from the home fans as this one gets late. They would still have time to turn it around in the second leg, but always tough to do that away from home. Careful that you don't get sucker punched with a second goal as well. These final 12.5 minutes if you're Costa Rica. Fed between the lines. Flag stays down for Ugalde. They spray it out wide. Chance to serve in across toward this back post. Calvo is there and he heads it wide. Good chance in the end for Costa Rica. Their first in quite a while. And their captain Calvo couldn't steer it on frame. His teammates wanted him to head this back across the face of goal. Just got it all wrong. And now the yellow card is issued for time wasting to Orlando Mosquera. So he goes into the book in the 79th minute. There was the brandishing of the card from Said Martinez. Fajardo and Carrasquilla, besides combining to win that penalty and score that penalty, they also were the 2 players for Panama who were both on yellow cards. So Thomas Christensen making sure that they are eligible to play the second leg. Mosquera now the only guy on the pitch on a card for Panama. More groans from the crowd as Panama have a free kick in their own half. Cesar Blackman defending well. Panama just over 10 minutes plus stoppage time away from a 6th straight win over Costa Rica. It would be a 9th in their last 11 meetings. Another free kick for them as we tick past 80 minutes. Panama has never been Costa Rica's chief rival. That's been Honduras. There's a lot of historical rivalry and antipathy between those two nations, Costa Rica and Honduras. Not as much between Costa Rica and Panama, even though they are neighbors. This is threaded through. And shielded off just enough was Guerrero, allowing Sequeira to gather. Costa Rica increasingly finding Panama difficult to deal with and difficult to live with, as Panama have turned this series completely around in recent years. I mentioned at the top of the show that Costa Rica once had a 10-match winning streak against Panama back in the 90s until the mid-2000s. Panama had only beaten them a handful of times ever until this recent stretch. Still time for Costa Rica to grab something, salvage something from this first leg, but not like that as they give away another free kick. Costa Rica trying to apply the press, but commit another foul. This is just fine for Panama. They have their lead, they have their away goal. They appear pretty content to try to run out this clock. Get back to Panama City in 4 days' time with that lead intact. These are the kind of game situations, game states where Panama are very tough to beat. Talked about it earlier. Sometimes they can fail to turn their possession dominance, their good passages of play. They can struggle to turn them into goals and clear advantages. But once they do, it's tough to haul them back with their possession play. They go in search of a second here. Second ball falls to Murillo. Serves it back post, and it's just wide. Flag was up. And it would not have counted. Panama, though, threatening for that second away goal that would really put Costa Rica in a bad spot in this tie. Let's see here. Delivery, he was off. Good call by the assistant referee. Bouncing ball at the other end. Hammered out of play. This will be a Costa Rica throw. Time short. Joel Campbell's hardly had a touch since he came on, and his touch there not great. He's only 32 years old, Joel Campbell. He's been around at the top level so long. Feels like he should be older than that, but he made his debut at just 17. Not his best moment there, though. Quite a flick from Jose Rodriguez. He gets the return as well. Couldn't progress it further. Calvo hits it long. Ugalde, was he bundled over? Referee looks like he's given the free kick and shown a card. It is a free kick for Costa Rica. And the yellow card to Jose Cordoba. Costa Rica have really struggled to create much over the last half an hour. Going to have a dangerous set piece here. Ill-advised from Jose Cordoba. Joel Campbell looks like he wants it. Claudio Vivas hoping his team can pull something out of the fire late in this first leg. Scored 27 goals for Costa Rica in his career, Joel Campbell. Can he produce another memorable moment here in his nation's capital? It is Joel Campbell into the wall. It's going to be a free kick for Costa Rica. Panama were looking for it to go the other way. Just 4 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Here's the situation. Fajardo from the penalty spot in the 66th minute. Costa Rica trying to change the narrative before that second leg. Even though they played decently well before conceding that penalty and that goal in the 66th minute, as things stand, they'll probably feel they didn't create enough. Referee waves play on there. It now gives the foul, and it goes Panama's way. Now the card is out. Not sure who on the Panama bench is going to get it. I think Thomas Christensen. Maybe his assistant. Tough to see exactly who that was being shown to. Jose Rodriguez has been subbed off. Kaiser Lenis will try to help see out these final few minutes. Plays his club ball in Colombia. Just his 8th appearance for Panama, but he scored twice in those previous 7. Foot race down this right side, and it's across the end line. It is a goal kick. Cesar Yanis has also come on for Panama. Costa Rica, unless they can find something dramatic here late on, just haven't created enough tonight. Panama have been able to hold them at arm's length for the most part. Costa Rica have had a few moments where they've created some danger. Small handful of half chances. The one big chance they had was that corner kick. So there's 2 balls on the pitch. Referee lets that go on. There was that corner kick early in the first half, outswinging ball, where they won the first ball, won the second ball. And it was Juan Pablo Vargas who had it fall to him on the penalty spot. He headed it straight at the goalkeeper. It's really the closest they've come tonight. This is clipped into the area, but good command of his box again by Orlando Mosquera. So we're in the final minute of the 90. Mosquera is on that yellow for time wasting 10 minutes ago. He goes on. Costa Rica win it back. Panama wanted offside. They don't get it. Subsequent ball just not good enough from Costa Rica, though. It's mostly been the story for them tonight. How much stoppage time will there be at the end of the 90 minutes? 6 minutes is the indication. So still 6 minutes to go in this first leg. Still time for Costa Rica to rescue something. Get themselves back on level terms in terms of the aggregate score ahead of that second leg in Panama City next week. Panama would still have the away goal advantage, of course. Pinned down this left side, Calvo after it, but again it skids out of play. Calvo now with a little shove on Michael Murillo. Forearm thrown out by Murillo there. That was subtle. Didn't notice that at full speed. Don't think the referee did either. Although didn't appreciate it. It was quick. Be careful about things like that in the age of VAR, but I don't think he actually made contact with the forearm. Love to just pass it around for these final 4 minutes plus. Costa Rica hoping to create one more chance. Another strong performance by Orlando Mosquera. Hasn't had many actual saves to make, but he's commanded his box well. Just not something you take for granted on a wet, rainy night like this. He's also read some plays well, hustled off his line and out of his area to clean up some balls behind the defense. Made the correct decisions every time. Again, Costa Rica, as things stand, I think will feel that they didn't test him enough, especially in conditions like this. This is a free kick for Costa Rica. They're going to pile a lot of bodies forward here. Panama playing a very high line with their defense. The box it goes. Panama stab it away. Good touch to recollect and reset. He'll ping it in one more time, but not good enough. Easy clearance. Edgardo Farinha. 3 minutes to play. Bouncing ball might be an opportunity on the half volley. Second ball hammered away by Farinha. Right before Ugalde could get there. It's just a hopeful ball forward from the goalkeeper, Sequeira. Created some awkwardness for Panama. Now a long throw coming from Costa Rica, maybe. It is launched into the box. Anywhere will work for Panama at this point. Fans urging Costa Rica forward. They win this first ball. Madrigal skipping away from one. Madrigal then had to get away from him. Couldn't find a teammate. It was given away though. Costa Rica can't do anything with it. Costa Rica have to be careful they don't get caught here. Fortunate that Panama played it conservatively. They had a man wide open on that far wing. He gets it now finally. Michael Murillo was screaming for it earlier. 90 seconds to play. Fog re-emerged, blanketing the field. Lenis. Godoy. few olays from the traveling Panama fans. Into the final minute of stoppage time. Panama at the moment cruising toward a first leg win. And an advantage for the home leg in this quarterfinal. Panama free kick. That might just about do it. It's been nearly masterful game management from Panama since they took that 66th minute lead. Not the best use of that free kick. Can Costa Rica create one more moment? 20 seconds to play. They have a throw. Everything's got to go forward for them now. Madrigal stealing a few yards. Referee lets him get away with that. Has to go forward now for Costa Rica. But there is the final whistle, and Panama continue their recent dominance over Costa Rica as they beat their Central American neighbors for a 6th consecutive time and take a big step toward another Nations League semifinal. They'll look to finish the job in Panama City next week after it finishes tonight in the first leg in San Jose. Panama 1, Costa Rica 0. The 66th minute penalty from Jose Fajardo after Coco Carrasquilla won the penalty a minute before was the difference in this opening leg. Panama will take that lead and that away goal into their home leg in Panama City 4 days from now. Costa Rica not out of this yet, but a tough blow for them to absorb tonight. Panama with a strong away performance. Not as dominant as last year, but you wouldn't expect that. But their overall dominance in the series continues for now. In just a moment, we'll hear from members of both sides. We'll have our full-time highlights and stats before we say goodbye for the night. As it ends again in Costa Rica. Panama 1, Costa Rica 0.
Francisco Calvo, jugador de la selección de Costa Rica. Francisco, trago amargo en este primer juego de cuartos de final.
Sí, primero que todo quiero agradecer a toda la gente que vino al estadio. La verdad que el apoyo fue impresionante. Ahora, sí, Panamá ganó bien, pero es una serie abierta. Es una serie donde tenemos que ir al Rommel, tenemos confianza en que podemos sacarla, tenemos material para hacerlo y vamos a darlo todo para poder lograr la clasificación.
¿Cómo visualizas ese segundo juego allá de visita?
Va a ser un partido cerrado. Las series contra Panamá siempre van a ser cerradas. Tenemos que trabajar. Vuelvo y repito, les doy mérito a los panameños, pero queda un partido, es una serie muy larga y ahora descansar, prepararnos para lo que viene y seguir adelante.
Gracias.
Costa Rica captain Francisco Calvo saying that Panama won the game well, but the series is still open and that they still have every chance of going through in the second leg. They'll have to work, it'll be tough. They still believe that they can do it in leg number 2.
José Fajardo, jugador del equipo de Panamá. Un triunfo sumamente importante aquí de visita.
Sí, bueno, hay que darle las gracias a Dios por la victoria, ¿no? Sumamos de a 3, importante era conseguir la victoria de visitante. De primer momento salimos a presionar, a buscar el gol. Era un partido muy complicado, ¿no? Porque sabíamos que tiene un buen equipo Costa Rica, ¿no? Y ellos también nos complicaron. Nosotros tuvimos la paciencia, esos primeros minutos, 20, 25 minutos, para poder controlar el partido y llevarlo al juego que queríamos. La cosa se nos dio, estábamos muy concentrados en la pelota quieta, sabíamos que ellos son muy fuertes en la pelota quieta, eso es lo que trabajamos en la semana. Hoy se dio, se reflejó en el campo y bueno, gracias a Dios por la victoria.
¿Y ese gol que lo cambia todo?
Sí, era importante marcar a cualquiera de los compañeros, sabíamos que era sumamente importante la victoria. Hoy, ahora toca seguir concentrado, mentalizado para el partido del lunes, que no va a ser nada fácil.
Gracias.
De nada.
Jose Fajardo for Panama saying it was a tough game, but his team maintained good concentration throughout and waited for their moment, and that they'll still have to do the same for the second leg. See our full-time highlights in just a moment. So the highlights from our 90 minutes in this first leg of this Concacaf Nations League quarterfinal in San Jose, Costa Rica. As we kicked off in the rain, we remained in the rain for most of the night, as we expected we would. There weren't a ton to do for either of the goalkeepers tonight, but some good reads, quick off their lines, both Patrick Sequeira and Orlando Mosquera. In this second half, Costa Rica actually began the second half well, but Panama then grew back into the game and started creating opportunities. This ball was just a little bit too far out in front of Jose Fajardo. It was a good smother by Patrick Sequeira. But Fajardo would be involved later on. Costa Rica had a half opportunity here, but at the other end, it was Mosquera. He was quick off his line several times in this game and was so again there. And Costa Rica starting the second half brightly over the first 10 minutes or so, but they faded pretty badly after that and struggled to create much over the rest of the second half, especially after Panama took the lead. There were those alarm bells ringing for Panama. They thought this should have been offside here. It did appear on the replay that it might have been just a touch offside. Didn't matter in the end. They dealt with the subsequent corner. And Panama created some half chances on the counter. This ball in the box reaching Jose Rodriguez, but he wasn't able to steer his header on target. But Panama would continue to create, and they should have opened the scoring in the 61st minute. This ball squared across the face by Murillo, and Fajardo, reaching behind himself slightly, hooked that ball over the top when the goal was gaping. But just a few minutes after that, he'd get another big chance after this shot was sliced wide by Jose Rodriguez, who played very well tonight. Panama were growing in danger, and then Coco Carrasquilla made things happen, got himself into the area, drew the contact, clear penalty, referee didn't hesitate. And the spot kick for Panama, which Jose Fajardo slammed into the back of the net. The decisive moment in this first leg, he celebrated, and Panama had that vital away goal and had that lead. And they would not relinquish it, as Fajardo, with that authoritative finish, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way and bulged the back of the net. And that would be the only goal of the night. Panama almost had a second, about 10 minutes from time. This was offside. The flag did go up as the header flashed just wide of that far post. Costa Rica struggled to create much down the stretch. Once they fell behind, Panama were masterful at seeing this game out. They managed things very well. This was really the closest Costa Rica came, off an awkward, hopeful ball forward. The second ball wouldn't quite fall for Manfred Ugalde. And the full-time whistle was blown after 6 minutes. As stoppage time, Panama get across the line. They'll take that lead into the second leg in Panama City on Monday. Here are the full-time statistics. 9 shots for Panama, 8 for Costa Rica. A ton of fouls in this game. Costa Rica wind up being whistled for 23 of them. Panama took 4 yellow cards. The one for Costa Rica hurts because Jalen Mitchell will miss the second leg on Monday through yellow card accumulation. Possession wound up 58% in Panama's favor. All that matters, though, that scoreline. Panama take the first leg with that 1-0 win. Their 6th consecutive win over Costa Rica. We'll have the second leg for you on Monday. It ends tonight in San Jose in the first leg of this quarterfinal. Panama 1, Costa Rica 0.